Good evening, folks. NTV Chief Meteorologist Eddie Shear here with your forecast update for this evening. Wanted to get this up earlier, but the phrase is better late than never. And even though it's almost 10 o'clock, I think a lot of you are going to find this fairly informative. Very strong area of low pressure going to make its presence felt across the province from tomorrow through Friday and even Saturday. Now, that being said, the brunt of this storm is not going to be felt by us. It's going to be felt by our neighbors to the south across the Maritimes and northern New England in the U.S. Long story short, though, what we can expect is snow tomorrow evening, changing to rain by Friday morning. Friday going to be mild and windy, and then we turn cooler for Saturday and Sunday. Into Labrador, a little bit of a different story. We are going to see significant amounts of snow from tomorrow night and really Friday through Saturday. Amounts from Nain back to Churchill Falls may total 40-50 centimeters by the time we are all said and done. So this is going to be nothing to mess around with across the big land. Going over to satellite and radar imagery, pretty quiet across our neck of the woods right now. Then the onshore flurries across the west coast. Those should wind down overnight as the conditions for them become a little bit less ideal. Looking down to the south, area of low pressure taking shape almost right. Now let's see if I can pause this. The low seems to be right in here right now. This is where the low pressure is currently gathering strength to its north. We've got rain into the Carolinas and snow not too far inland in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. Not something you see very often. It snowed today in Florida. I think Tallahassee saw snow for the first time since like 1989. So this is an exceptionally strong storm system, and it's only going to get stronger as it works its way toward New England and Atlantic Canada over the next 24 hours. So here's the future computer showing the low crawling along the east coast, or I should say racing along the east coast of the U.S. between tonight and tomorrow. And by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, the low is going to be very strong. It's going to bomb out, meaning it deepens at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. We see these lows very frequently. We see bombogenesis happening, is the correct term, very frequently near Newfoundland and Labrador waters, and generally in our area of the world during the winter time, but doesn't happen that often farther south, which is why they're kind of making a big deal of it. You're hearing the term bomb cyclone. This cyclone is no different from any other storm. It's just exceptionally strong for where it is. It's going to be producing very heavy snow. Very high winds, perhaps approaching 150, 160 kilometers per hour along the coasts of Maine and Nova Scotia and possibly New Brunswick into the Bay of Fundy. But as it rolls up towards our neck of the woods, we are going to see snow from it, but the brunt of it is going to be felt across the Maritimes and northern New England. We will see snow and wind and rain by the time this is all said and done, which in Newfoundland is going to be Friday morning in Labrador. This will not fully wrap up until later on Saturday. So let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty details here, talk about what we can expect. Ahead of this, Environment Canada has winter storm watches, winter storm warnings, snowfall warnings, rainfall warnings in place for Atlantic Canada, special weather statements too. In our neck of the woods, we've got a special weather statement for Labrador for snow. That will more than likely be upgraded to a snowfall or winter storm warning at some point tomorrow. On the island, we've got blowing snow advisories for Gander and Bonavista North, along with the Burin Peninsula for some snow and blowing snow tomorrow evening, making travel conditions difficult for a few hours, but that should transition over to rain after midnight. Western half of Newfoundland under a winter storm warning for significant amounts of snow, over 20 centimeters tomorrow evening into tomorrow night, as it looks like the snow will start tomorrow evening. And then there's also going to be some strong winds with that. So winter storm warning means heavy snow and high winds. Winds for basically the western half of the island going to be gusting between 80 and 110 tomorrow evening. Exposed coastal areas on the west coast, especially from near Corner Brook, but not including Corner Brook, up through Rocky Harbor and toward Parsons Pond, especially on the downslope side of the Long Range Mountains, may see those winds gusting tomorrow night to 150. There's also going to be a possible storm surge and some high water levels come Friday from very persistent onshore winds from Canagra around to Bay St. George. So if you have interests along the coast in any of these areas, certainly keep an eye on them as we go through the morning hours on Friday. There's also a wind warning in place for the Avalon Peninsula, Bonavista Peninsula, Burin Peninsula, Clarenville, and Terra Nova. Winds tomorrow night into Friday going to gust to 110 at times. Looks like the strongest winds for the Avalon come in tomorrow evening, and they're more than likely going to be felt around St. Mary's Bay and Placentia Bay. And into the Wreckhouse area, Wreckhouse wind warning in place, winds gusting as high as 180 tomorrow night into Friday morning. So it's going to be a rough time of it. as we look down across southwestern Newfoundland tomorrow night through the day Friday. So timing out the arrival of the wind speeds, it looks like in the Wreckhouse area, those strongest winds are going to be tomorrow night, maybe around midnight. And as you can see there through the Churchill Valley down towards Cape Ray, the computer model suggesting wind speeds gusting above 130. And as we look just north of Corner Brook up through Rocky Harbor, another swath of winds gusting as high as 130 or more. But some purple showing up, meaning winds gusting 100 to 130 for the south coast, Burin Peninsula, parts of the Avalon Peninsula. That's around midnight. As we get into 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, it looks like the highest wind speeds move away from eastern Newfoundland, but they do persist on the southwest coast. So if you have some loose items, definitely take care and haul those in. Christmas decorations still up. You're going to want to take them down. As we go through the day Friday, yes, it's going to be breezy, but it's not going to be as windy as it was last week. Or I should say the winds aren't going to stick around as long as they did last week during Christmas week. And the winds will generally back off a little bit Friday afternoon. That being said, it's still going to be quite breezy through the day on Friday with onshore winds sustained between 60 and 80 or gusting 60 to 80 kilometers per hour at times. Timing this all out. Tonight, things stay quiet. Nothing to worry about tonight. Tomorrow morning, the day starts off generally pretty sunny. Not really a whole lot going on as we go through the morning hours Thursday. Clouds, though, begin to roll in mid-afternoon. We see the snow spreading onto the south coast by 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, and that snow will work its way northward by 8, 9 o'clock, encompassing much of Newfoundland. And the snow that we do see between 6 and midnight tomorrow, or maybe 1, 2 in the morning, is going to be very, very heavy. We're talking snowfall rates several centimeters an hour, combined with the blowing snow and the high winds, going to be a nasty go of it. And there's that rain snow line just pushing onto the south coast by midnight. It looks like that rapidly works its way northward between midnight, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And it looks like by 5, 6 o'clock that warm front has lifted through. Temperatures are coming above freezing. The snow is pretty much done with. The winds are still howling. And it's going to be a breezy Friday with some showers, but the snow and precip is pretty much done with by Friday morning. In Labrador, though, we see the snow just getting started Friday morning, and that will persist through Friday and more than likely into Saturday in spots. Snowfall across the island overnight tomorrow night into early Friday morning. Looks like from Grand Falls, winds are down towards Bay d'Espoir and points east. We're talking about 10 to 15 centimeters. Grand Falls, Windsor, kind of right along that Bay d'Espoir highway. Points west, we're talking about amounts between 15 and 30 centimeters of snow. Rainfall going to be highest south and east after we see that changeover tomorrow night. Changeover on the Avalon Peninsula, Burin Peninsula, south coast, looks like some point between 11 o'clock and 2, 3 in the morning. Then we see a brief period of heavy rain before it all kind of ends early Friday morning. On the Avalon, looks like between 5 and 15 millimeters of rain. St. John's Metro out towards Holyrood and getting into the kind of Harbor Grace area. It looks like not much rainfall at all after the snow. And as we look back towards the south coast, we see rainfall amounts approaching 20 millimeters around St. Albans, points west, and then same thing just to the east of the Port aux Basques area, not too far away from Burgeo. In Labrador, going to be a lot of snow between Friday and Saturday. That's what you're seeing here. Amounts in Nain approaching 50 centimeters or more. Same thing for Churchill Falls. But back toward Labrador City and around Happy Valley Goose Bay, it looks like snowfall amounts in the 30 to 50 centimeter range, or about 1 to 2 feet of snow across Labrador. Temperature-wise, we're going to see temperatures fall tonight. Going to be a chilly one out there for sure. By tomorrow morning, temperatures across the island near -10, close to -30 in Lab City and Wabush. As we go through the day tomorrow, temperatures across the island peaking into the minus single numbers, minus teens and 20s across Labrador. Tomorrow night, as you remember, that warm front lifts through, so temperatures begin to moderate, especially after midnight, and by Friday morning, 5, 6 o'clock, we're talking temperatures between almost 5 and 10 across southern and eastern Newfoundland. The temperatures are going to hold there through a good chunk of the day. It looks like by the mid-afternoon, though, temperatures on the west coast beginning to fall as the colder air comes back in, as that low works up into Labrador and basically stalls there for about a day. And then we see much colder air coming in as we go into Saturday and Sunday with the threat of onshore squalls and flurries across the west coast, south coast, Burin and Avalon Peninsula Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So been going on about 10 minutes now. So I hope you've gotten all the information you need. in regard to what we can expect tomorrow into tomorrow night and Saturday across parts of the province. Again, we're not going to be taking the brunt of this weather maker. It looks like areas to our south are going to take the worst of this one. Not the best background for my house. I apologize on that. I do have a home office in the process of renovating it. That should be done with hopefully in the next couple weeks, and I should have a nice fancy office to do these weather forecasts from home and hopefully you like what you see. Have a great evening. I'll see you tomorrow on NTV starting at 5:30 on First Edition, the evening news hour between 6 and 7, and I'm certain I'll have updates on Facebook and Twitter and social media before then. Have a great night.